The media have reported on police brutality reasonably well, fairly superficially. And I don't know, I mean, the media is forced to maintain a relationship with the police for other stories that they do when they're doing investigations. Police brutality, especially when it is dramatic enough to reach the international community, then you find our media picking up on it strongly.
James Njenga is being buried at his rural homestead in Kiambu, a town just outside Nairobi. This is the second tragedy visited on the family within a month. Steps from his own grave lies the body of his 17-year-old son, Stephen Gichuru, who was gunned down by police in a Nairobi slum in May.
Well, I think the media has been good in highlighting the incidents, or at least some of the incidents that have happened. I think they have ignored most of the incidents happening in, for example, in the informal areas where the police go in and carry out operations, kill people, maim people. That rarely makes it into the news. But of course, when it's to do with prominent people, or let's say a certain class of Kenyans. So, for example, with Willie Kimani, the lawyer who was killed along with his client and a taxi driver, that tends to garner news. But the killings in the slums really don't make it there.
Huku hivi maisha inaendeleanga tu. Msee akiliwa ni kama ni normal. Chali akiliwa na karao ni normal huku. Hakuna action yote kiwa. Me personally siwezi take any action juu sina sauti. Huku chini tunanga sauti.
Media has reported reactively after incidences have already happened. Extrajudicial killings, for example, ordinarily happen where media are not on scene of crime or related. Most of the cases, even of harassment, like in Kwale and Mombasa, are cases involving returnees or radicalized youth, as they call them. Again, you see most of the time police go at night to do those raids. So many times they do these things outside journalistic working hours. But I can tell you that whenever media is made aware or tipped on such cases, we have seen quite substantive reporting on issues of extrajudicial killings or harassment or related. So media can only do the much they can, because some of those things involve arms, firearms, and related. And as you know, journalists are not armed, even trained to work in hostile environments. So many times journalists would withdraw to wait to be given third eye accounts.
Chaos, tears and tear gas. Hundreds of youth from two opposing sides took to the streets and engaged in running battles, with a section of them attacking members of the Somali community whom they accused of having had a hand in Sunday's deadly attack on a Kariobangi-bound matatu.
I think the fight against terrorism everywhere around the world has undermined the media and media reporting, because governments and police and security forces be able to say that if you push too hard, you're undermining the security. So-called war against terror has been damaging to the media's ability to report on injustices that are committed by the police, because people are also frightened and want to, so they lean over backwards and listen to the police stories. A lot of excuses are given. Say, oh, so and so is a terrorist. So these ladies are supposed to be attacking a police station. The reporting becomes erratic, and when it becomes erratic, the default becomes the negative, that people don't believe the police. When the story is shaky, when one story is given 1 hour, then in the next day the story has changed, people believe the worst against the police.
Well, again, if you remember at the beginning when the attack happened on that day, everybody was reporting what the police were saying, which is there is a terrorist attack on the Mombasa police station. As it has turned out, that has been put into question. But there hasn't been as much verve, I think, in following it up, even when the police accounts themselves have been shown not to be either consistent or even in cases accurate. So they said these women had suicide vests. We now know that was not true. But where did that story come from? Why was it put there? We've heard of involvement of refugees. In this, again, turns out not really. So in all of this, there is sort of a tendency by the press to take the official line, to regurgitate what I call the official truth, what the police want you to hear, rather than question the sources of this information. Actually, to go beyond the official sources, to talk to people, talk to their families, talk to people who knew these women, and to get a much better, wider story than simply saying this is what government said happened. We saw the whole Boniface Manono attack. It blew up. That was during the court protests, and it blew up on social media. It was because of the pressure that was generated by this being shared among citizens that there was a push for accountability. Now, again, our mainstream media picked it up, followed it for a while and forgot about it. Which is again now where social media is helpful in now holding the media itself to account for ignoring this. We have no reason to believe that any action was ever taken against that particular policeman. And the story has sort of been just allowed to slide. And I think it's only in social media that you will find voices of people who are questioning it, who are asking that. And I think if you get a big, a critical mass of voices asking, then you will actually get some action done. So I think social media is good in the sense that it allows citizens to participate and to articulate grievances in forums where you don't have an editor sitting back and saying, well, let's not run that because it's going to make our relationship with government uncomfortable. Media has very much been remiss, in highlighting this. I think when you look at the protests that people like Boniface Mwangi organize and the reaction that they get, lots of time they really have to push to simply get the media to cover it.
It's part of the documentation of human rights, and most of the media policies would require that most of what sometimes extreme cases the police do that time. And to me, in fact, I did a study on media coverage of human rights violations, and media in Kenya is doing well. I can tell you, most of the studies, most of the cases you pick are normally highlighted through the media. People are educated to a level where when somebody gets his relative or friend harassed or beaten, they always run to the media even before police. So media has come out as a very trusted institution of documenting and exposing human rights violations. You remember when Kasarani happened, the concentration camp, a lot of people went to report from the media, and there was serious media coverage.
It's significant. It's a significant democratizing development that we have this kind of media. We haven't reached where the US have reached, where social media has had a major impact in terms of reporting on police violence against black people in particular, and a whole movement has been started. We haven't reached there in Kenya yet.
The Njoya case, you remember, the picture is still even vivid in the nation photo of Njoya being clobbered, and other people. So media has been on the forefront. Social media is free, it throws out some things, but media has a code of ethics.
I don't think it has necessarily de-escalated it. I think it has raised the costs for both the police and the media. I think one of the great things about citizen journalism and social media is the ability to hold people to account in forums that are not mediated by officialdom.
It is a force that has for long been demonized for extrajudicial killings and police brutality. Today was, however, a different day for the service. Taking to the streets of Nairobi, activists handed police officers roses in a show of support for their plight.
It's for the first time that people have come together to say that we support the police. Because when something goes wrong, we all condemn police officers. We all do that.
We, the undersigned organizations, call for the immediate release of Willie Kimani, a human rights defender and lawyer, and his two associates, Josephat Mwenda and Joseph Moiroli.
Angry learned friends in unfamiliar territory.
And as Kenya woke up to the shock of the discovery of bodies of lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwenda, and taxi driver Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet revealed there is circumstantial evidence linking 3 police officers with the murder.
These were the scenes across the country as lawyers abandoned the courtroom and moved to the streets to demand answers following the death of human rights lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwenda, and taxi driver Joseph Mirori.
Are likely to create a major public outcry, especially due to the likelihood that they died in the hands of police officers.
Kazi ya mtu mwingine tuweze kuifanya. Sasa na hii Kenya tumeijenga kwa muda mrefu. Kwa nini tunataka kujaribu in one day?
Senior Superintendent Joseph Ndenge at his element. As far as he was concerned, Ndenge was just carrying out his duty, tackling charged demonstrators by reasoning with them and convincing them to stop the destruction. Ndenge's action went contrary to all expectations, going by the public's perception of the police, and especially the dreaded General Service Unit, of which he is a member. It has turned out to be an act that will forever be etched in Ndenge's memory, for it has earned him international recognition, no less than that of the United Nations.
The award will be a morale booster to my quest to service to the nation.